therapist, and I work with schizophrenia a lot. And one of the things we do is this technique called reality checking. And so like if I'm sitting in, a normal therapy session with somebody with schizophrenia and they're like, hey, there's somebody in this room, or they're telling me about hallucinations, I'll sit there and I'll go, okay, can you touch them? And they'll like get up and they'll walk across the room to where this thing is. They'll try and reach out and they're like, no. And I'm like, does it talk to you? And, it's different for different cases and whatnot, but you go through this like iterative process of eliminating all of these senses. And at the very end of the process of just reality checking, you're like, okay, so if none of that's real, you can't feel it. I don't see it. Nobody that you ask sees it. How do you know it's real? And so they eventually get to this point where they're like, oh, maybe my perception is a really unreliable determinant of reality. And it seems like, in Mikey's case, he's got all these perceptions of words, of behaviors, of intentions. And unfortunately, sympathetically, nobody's in his circle to say, hey, so is any of this real? Did Lauren Fisher cause any tangible harm? Or is this just your perception that nobody else is experiencing in objective reality? It's just interesting.
Hey, dude. And here's the thing. If he were to be like, what you just said is amazing, and thank you for calling. If he were to be like, no, it's not, but I would be so happy. At least then I would realize he knew, right? Like there's things that hurt my feelings that I know I've chosen to hurt my feelings and give power over to. I can admit that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know at the end of the day, when I go to bed, I have to let those things go. If I want to be happy, I can keep holding on to them, right? There's things my wife says that hurt my feelings, right? And I know that I'm holding on to them. This guy doesn't even know. This guy isn't like, yeah, you're right. Inherently, the word retard has no negative things. And actually, it's me who's demanding that everyone follow the rules of this word. And I'm okay with it being an asshole. Then I'd be like, well, fuck. Okay. I mean, I could maybe get behind that. He doesn't even know.
Right. Well,
he
and it's
thinks
also
that
like
the fucking boogeyman is real. He really is insisting that this dude's in the room. It's the same thing with those. That's why he said something in a post that said, hey, I'm sorry I had to out Sevon, but he deserves it. And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't out me. You outed yourself. It's like the person who says Sevon doesn't think it's rude to call a black person a monkey. Not any more than it is to call a white person a monkey. They think that I'm being racist when they've just outed themselves for saying that they think black people look like monkeys. It's like, I don't know if you can talk. Have you ever talked someone out of, have you ever walked someone to like, hey dude, have you ever walked someone out of their delusion?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Would you give Mike Whittius a free, like 3 free sessions? I'll pay for him. Would you give him 5 sessions if I paid for it?
I think the critical piece for any type of conversation like that is the patient or client has to at least 50% be willing to be wrong and change their mind.
Right.
And I mean, really with any psychotherapy,